right? How our mental?
Holding through the storm.
Oh.
And just
Hold
busy.
on for dear life.
Sometimes shit just feel rapid, bro.
Hey, it come at you quick, don't it?
Bro,
It
man,
come,
I don't even have any words for that, bro.
nah, for real. How y'all think? How long y'all think this gonna last?
Mm, I think we're gonna get a few pumps, and then we'll probably go back down again. I think it's gonna last till February, like you said, you know.
Yeah, February is usually a red month. It's usually
But Trump like to do the theatrics, and you know, what was September? He kept the market up, was didn't he?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So
we were supposed to drop crazy in September. We didn't.
instead
Oh,
we dropped in what, November?
yo, we dropped in
Yeah.
November. Yo. Yeah,
So
but then we dropped all the way till Thanksgiving, and then Thanksgiving week. You remember it was green every single day on Thanksgiving week.
hmm
I
Yo.
think I feel like it's very interesting as far as like how we dropped and the information that's coming out on Jeffrey Epstein. And
Mm,
I feel like though my question was answered when I asked as far as what is going to make the cryptocurrencies and the market drop significantly,
yeah.
right? So when you're looking at like the 95 like lens and they're looking at Bitcoin, oh, Jeffrey Epstein has something to do with it. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna sell my tokens. I'm definitely gonna sell my crypto. But then it's having that, investor perspective is like, well, at the end of the day, we're more so in a free market. So it's just like at the end of the day, yeah, there's evil people that, run the money and they know what they're doing as far as like how they operate and stuff like that. And yeah, they're sadistic and what have you, right? But there's still opportunity to capitalize off of investing into these stocks, into the cryptocurrency, because like you said, you often mention things are being on discount. But people, right? It's just like what people hear and what people see that can steer them away from investing. So hearing something like, "Oh, Jeffrey Epstein has something to do with Bitcoin. I'm not going to invest, or I'm going to sell my Bitcoin." But at the end of the day, no one's looking 10 years down the line. Like how does this currency affect us right down the line? How can we capitalize off of that? Right. So just having that double lens, I feel like we're in very interesting times.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we are too. Just been doing this for a little minute, man. Like there's these ebbs and flows of the market, right? It goes up and it go down. But each year, it's like the reasoning for the markets to pump and go down are different. But the flow of the market stays the same. It goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down. So, one year it was, COVID broke out. Market market went lower. And Joseph showed us last week. He was like, yo, this was in line with the pattern for what needed to be created for us to continue to keep going up. Right. And so where all of that can be valid, right? Jeffrey Epstein, I don't know what else they saying. Trump, into with different countries, inflation, debt. I had down here, we've been in debt. You feel me? We've been had inflation, right? So if we've been had debt, we've been had inflation, we've been at war with other countries. Why now? And that's where I think a lot of us get kind of caught up where this is the reason, or this is the reason, or this is the reason. Nah, there's always been reasons, but like I said, the market needs these ebbs and flows to continue to keep going, right? And I had somebody text me before we got on the call. He said, "Bro, Jeffrey Epstein, bro, all the politicians are going down. All the politicians are going down. Jeffrey Epstein, he was doing this, and everybody connected to him. That's the reason why crypto was selling off, and it's gone." And I'm just like I'm like, yo, just ask yourself, the correlation between the two, right? A digital currency that people are choosing to build wealth in, and you're talking about a group of people that's on some foul shit in real life, right? I'm not saying that it's not affecting each other, but I'm saying, yo, it's just ebbs and flows. And the news that comes out is gonna be different every year. Next year is gonna be um somebody was in the White House doing some crazy shit and doing boom, boom, and boom, and that's why the market is selling off. And then we at war with now the market is selling off. I think all of this is opportunities. I think all of it is opportunities, bro. The reasoning why it's opportunity, it's gonna be different every single time, bro. Every single time. It's gonna be different every single time. So that's why I want us to be in a position like, bro, this is normal, bro. And we really not even bleeding like how we should. Like crypto done dropped from 120,000 down to, and I just seen it touch 59,000. 120,000 down to 59,000. SPX went from 7,000 to 6,800. Bro, that's on SPY. That's like Alante was cutting a SPY early this year. That's like 10, 20 points, ain't it? Am I tripping? That's like 10, 20 points on SPY. So
Nah, yeah. You ain't tripping.
it's like 10, 20 points on SPY. But crypto, Bitcoin went from 120,000 down to 59,000. 50% cut in wealth, bro. SPX went from 7,000 to 6,800 today. And niggas is, bro, I've been there before. Like when I was a beginner, when the market was red, and I'm just like, bro, I'm done. The worst thing I did in the beginning, and that's why I want to tell everybody, the worst thing I did was sell. The worst thing I did was sell my assets, bro. Because the market came back bigger, faster, and stronger than ever before. And I couldn't participate in none of the games because I chickened out and I sold all my assets, bro. I was like, nah, I just need to be on the sideline. Bro, it's the beginning of February. If you see the trajectory, January is usually a strong month. February is usually a sideways kind of red month. That's just historically how it's been. So, like Teve just said, um, just the reasoning why things fall, bro. I think every time we fall, every time we pump, it's gonna be a different reason. We've been in debt, bro. Inflation been crazy. And people talking about, oh, the inflation is the reason why we're falling and our debt is, bro, this has been going on for 20, 30 years, bro. Ain't nothing changed. I definitely feel like there is profit taking. I think institutions, like KB keeps saying, institutions are trying to find levels to get into. Ian said it on Market Mondays. He said institutions need room to run, right? The book that I told y'all to read, Money Master the Game. Money Master the Game, where I think it was Peter Lynch who Joseph was talking about last week. Peter Lynch was talking about the risking $1 to make five. Right? Institutions, bro, they're smart, bro. They're not dumb. They're not about to buy at all-time highs and hope it go up. Nah. We got to make some room for run. So if we got to have some room to run, that means we got to dump this thing down. So when we put $1 in, we get a 10x return. You're not going to get no 10x return if you buy all-time highs. You shouldn't even want to buy all-time highs. You buy 7,000, put $1 in, and you expect a 10x, bro, you crazy. You gotta have this thing fall a little bit, bro. Then you put your money in. Then when it get back up, okay, cool. I'm up double, triple, quadruple. Okay, cool. So that's just, bro. This is just normal. How everybody feeling though? How y'all feeling about all
Just,
that?
just patterns on the market, you know, just cycles, like you said. It's historical and it's
Yeah,
following the pattern.
yeah, exactly, exactly, exactly. So what's some things y'all doing right now, bro? That keep y'all level head when the market be red. I'm curious.
Close that damn phone. Put it
Yep.
down.
Close that.
Close the app. Okay,
Yeah.
close the app. He said
Or
close
if
the
you do
phone.
want to check, only check like Robinhood, whatever you're not, wherever your account not on. Trading view, I should say.
Cool. Anybody else? Y'all got any other strategies?
Yeah, I just say stay off them charts.
Yeah, the charts.
Yeah.
I like that.
Applying for more jobs so I can make more money.
On my
More
mama.
more reserves
Oh,
though.
my mama.
Need
More
some more
cheese.
cash. Need some more cash. And that KB said it earlier, bro. That's one of the worst things about red days is like you just wish you had more cheese to put
Hmm.
into the market. Right? That's why you can never run out of reserves. Never run out of reserves. Always have a little something on the side that you can continue to keep having. Like I was about to buy hood again today. I'm like, nah, let me wait. I want Bitcoin to go down. Let me see. Ian said 63,000 price target. It went down to 59,000. Hood kept dropping. I'm like, nah, I'm gonna wait. That joint dropped even more. So, um, yeah, man, the reserves, wishing you had more reserves, that's probably one of the biggest things. Just a couple things like J. Cole said, KB said, a couple things I do, just to make sure my head is straight when the market is red, is he said it, bro. Just get off the phone, bro. Get off of the charts, bro. Get off of the screen, get off of social media, get off of everything, bro. But like, I look at my red days as opportunities to tap back into real life. We be on our phones so much, it's like it's a red day. I got my play out for a long time. I'm not selling. So why am I staring at the market bleed? Like I'm only doing myself a disservice, right? I'm only doing myself a disservice. So those are one of the things I do. Just get off of the phone, bro. Find some stuff to tap back into in real life. I literally cut my phone off, cut my computer off. I'll turn the TV on. I'll read a book. I try to stay away from my phone as long as possible when the market is red. When I'm on my phone, I'm looking at this 5 minute candle. I'm looking at this. I'm looking at that. I'm like, I think it's gonna be a pump right here. I might get out, or I might short, or I might just get off of the charts, bro. Get off of the charts. Another thing I do, zoom out. Zoom out. When you zoom out, like I said, when you look at the index and where it's at, when you look at the index and where it's at, you're gonna see, it's bleeding today, but how long has it been bleeding? How long has it been bleeding? I just told you, we was just at 7,000 a week and a half ago. We had 6,800. 7,000 to 6,800, bro. Bro, everything is okay right now, bro. Everything is okay right now. Hold through the storm. Hold through the storm, bro. Everything is okay right now. Just keep holding, bro, and just keep doubling down on your craft, bro. Doubling down on your craft. One of my favorite things about the market is um the similarities it has to you in life, right? When you winning, check your attitude, and then when you losing, checking your attitude. The best way to tell a character of somebody, bro, is the character or the sentiment that they have when they winning and when they losing. When somebody losing, they say, man, F this, F the world, I ain't gonna be shit, I ain't gonna make it in life. I knew this shit was rigged. I knew I shouldn't have did this shit. I knew I shouldn't have invested. But then when the market green, man, this the best shit ever. Bro, that mean you're not level-headed. That mean you're not level-headed, bro. What they say about the cup, bro, half full, half empty. Bro, you supposed to be the same way when the market red, the same way when the market green, because you know what you're doing. If you out here guessing, gambling, you think this shit FanDuel, you're gonna get your ass kicked. I'm not gonna lie to you. You think I'm about to just put $1 and turn it into 1 million, you're gonna get your ass kicked. This is not a parlay where you can put $10 in and I'm gonna select this, and this. And if this all hit, I'm gonna turn $10 into 1 million. This ain't that, bro. This is building wealth one day at a time, right? Picking valuable companies. Okay, how do we pick valuable companies? I gotta look at their balance sheet. I gotta look at the importance of how they are for the trajectory of the world. Okay, cool. That's how I pick a good company to park my money into, right? They say the Mag 7, yo, Nvidia's, right? Nvidia ain't going nowhere 10 years, bro. Amazon ain't going nowhere. Yeah, they reported earnings, and they dropped, but they not going nowhere, bro. Picking these valuable companies, parking our money into, and just rinse and repeat. Rinse and repeat. So perseverance, bro, is one of the biggest things that I try to work on when the market is red. Perseverance. It's the similarity I see in life. When life get hard for me, I ask myself, like, How am I gonna bounce back after this? When life get hard for me, I ask myself, how am I gonna bounce back after this? And it's the same way in the market. When the market red, how am I gonna bounce back? Right? Am I complaining? Am I angry? Another thing I like to do when the market is red, I like to go do something for the homeless. That's one of my tricks. That's one of my tricks. When the market is red, I'm like, yo, I got all these places around me in Dallas. I go out. It's like a lot of homeless people down the street. It's McDonald's, Taco Bell, all that. I go to McDonald's. I grab a whole bunch of fries, like 10 bro, it was 10 fries, like $10, $12, $15, 10 different fries. And I walk down and I hand them to people, right? Because why? It gets me off of the charts. One. Number two, bro, you can't never go wrong with helping somebody else out when you are in a red situation. The best way to get out of your red situations is sometimes doing something good for somebody else, bro. When you going through hell and shit ain't adding up and you know things ain't adding up, one of the best things that you can do is still give to somebody, bro. Your blessing might be on the other end of you giving something. Pause, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean, right? Right. So yeah, let me check these charts out. I want to show y'all. I've been using that logarithmic tool that Joseph has showed us, man. And dude, this thing is dope, bro.
And keep investing into your account
Yep.
each paycheck every time for a red day like this.
That's fire. Can y'all see my screen? Y'all can
Yep,
see my
we can
screen?
see. We
Yeah,
can
we
see.
see it.
Yep.
Okay, bet. So as of right now, I'm looking at the NASDAQ futures, bro. And remember, on these NASDAQ futures on Trading View, y'all can paper trade on here, right? All you got to do is hook your broker up and paper trade. So as of right now, look at this. I'm about to put a paper trade in. I'm looking at the NASDAQ futures. It's just showing us overnight that the market is getting back strong, right? So if we look at the market getting back strong, my first thing is when I look at a chart, where was our peak, right? Where was our peak? Our peak was up in this range, right? So in that peak range up there, we could have called this a double top formation. Double top where we got a top here, it touched and it got weak, came down, came back up, it touched again and it got weak again and it came back down. The next thing I'm looking for is where could the support be? Okay, cool. I see the support here. Why is this a support here? It touched here a few times and it popped, touched, popped, touched, popped, came through, touched again, popped. Now look at it now. Where could it be headed? Right? So I think we could go down and touch this $23,981 again. Right? This will where I would be looking to load the boat, or not load the boat. I would be looking to get into some of these plays, right? I'll be looking to get in some of these plays. Not like your SanDisk or Microns or your memory plays that's having a great year and going to continue to have a great year. Those plays are kind of more speculative. You got to kind of get in where you fit in. Hopefully it comes down to these levels, but they don't always come down to these levels when the demand for the stock price is out the roof, right? So looking at this right now, I'm gonna just do a just a paper trade for y'all. Right click, right? See if it'll let me buy. Add order. Let's see. Cause this is what I was doing the other day. Paper trading on this joint. Add order. Let's see. There we go. There we go. Look at this. Hold on. If this joint load, why every time I get on here, this joint start acting slow? Notice it. This. Okay, here we go. See, I put in something in at the market. Let me see. 0.01. I'll say 49 minimum. Okay, bet. Look at this. Let's see. So at this market order here, look at this at the bottom down here. Y'all see this down here? How the money is moving down there. So that means I'm in a position right now as we speak. In a position right now as we speak. I don't know why I got this 11:15 up, but this is me in a position as we speak. So y'all can come on here and paper trade and just practice, bro. Go on TradingView and just practice to see, different setups. If I get in here, how would this look? The only bad thing about paper trading is it's not real money. When it's not real money, you really don't have the real emotion connected to it that you need when you really get out here in the market. When you really get out here in the market. So that's just something that I like to do. I don't know why it's stuck up there right now, but yeah, that's something I like to do. And then let me look at Bitcoin. Look at this Bitcoin right here. Look at this. Just using the same channel and same setups that Joseph has showed us, right? And I told you I was gonna show y'all how he did it. So I'm gonna start over actually so y'all can see. So the first thing he did was he hit this bottom right on this side where the numbers are. Bottom right, you can go to regular, percent, index to 100, logarithmic, right? Click logarithmic. Then you see this joint expanded, right? Next thing he did was go get this parallel channel, right? Parallel channel. When you get the parallel channel, you go from the bottom of where it's been. Go here. And you go all the way to the top of where it's been. Right? And like he said, this is how you will see if a company is really in overvalue range or if it's in undervalue range. Follow me on that? So let me go back. Yeah, there we go. It took me off a logarithmic. Fix this up. There we go. There we go. So then when you zoom in, you'll be able to see if we're in overvalue range or we in undervalue range, right? And remember, like he said, this median range, this average range will show you on which side are we headed in, right? So we on a side where we're under the average of where Bitcoin has been over the last 14 years, right? Over the last 14 years. So if we on the bottom side of it, this would be a good area, right, to grab Bitcoin, right? These other areas, when we touched, what was that, 120K? Now I wouldn't have grabbed it up there. I would grab it closer to the bottom of this channel on what he was talking about, right? Ian had a price target at 63,000. 63,000 is holding, bro. And then when you look at 63,000, you ask yourself, what did he see? Why 63,000?
I was just about to say that. You think that's what you use them?
I don't know if this is exactly what he's using, but if you're looking at a chart, you can see this is clear support down here. And it's not just a little bit of support, this is a lot of bit support. And then when you go look in the past, this was obviously resistance before too. So if this was resistance before, and then it turns into support here, that means this 63,000 line is a very important number. So then you ask, damn, is that what he's seeing? It looks like it, right? And one thing about, these price targets, even with Ian, with anybody, bro, you're not gonna be perfect on your price target. He said 63,030 is what he'll look to add. It dropped down to 59,000 a day. It touched 59,000. Yeah. So it's 4,000 off of his entry, but it's a 80% better shot than it is all the way up here at 126,000. Right? So like Michael Saylor, Coinbase, Robinhood, a lot of these guys, Tom Lee, a lot of these guys that was loading up on Bitcoin, just keep buy it anywhere, dollar cost average in. That always might not be the best strategy, bro. Especially if you don't got the amount of revenue that you need coming in to just buy anywhere. If you don't got the money, which typically most of us don't, just got millions and millions of dollars coming in where we can just buy it 120,000, buy it at 80,000, buy it. Nah, a lot of us have to be precise with the investments that we choose and the entries that we have. We got to be precise,
Buy
right?
great assets at good prices.
Buy buy great assets at great prices. So me personally, whenever Bitcoin turns around, I feel like is when everything else will turn around. That's just me personally, and the reason being is because the correlation that it has now. In the past, it was, hey, dump money into gold, dump money into Bitcoin, get out of stocks. Or stocks is running, we dumping money out of gold. We don't really need Bitcoin. Now I think the environment has shifted to either it's a risk on environment or a risk off environment. There ain't no, hey, we're gonna invest here because the market is going down. You would think like that's the best route to go. Like that's always how the market has kind of rewarded, different sectors. But now you seen last week the market sold off gold, silver sold off. And like, yo, gold selling off, silver selling off, stock selling off. Where do I park my money? You're like, hmm. So I think it's either a risk on environment or a risk off environment. Just for the short term, at least, for what's going on in February and the outlook of what's going on. We either in a risk on environment or a risk off, right? So I think once Bitcoin starts coming back, people will be a little bit more confident in putting their money back out there. People will be a little bit more confident. Another couple things about Bitcoin and crypto. Um, it's not just selling off because people are scared. A lot of these sell-offs are happening because of liquidations, right? And if you don't know what liquidations are, it's when you're over leveraged, right, in a position, and the broker or the firm that you're investing through, they'll sell your position to protect the assets that they have at the company. I hope that makes sense. So if you don't have a stop loss, a lot of traders don't have stop losses, bro. They just be over leveraging. They'll borrow more money, dump more money in, say, hey, we're gonna buy here, it'll go down. They'll borrow more money and put more money in. Now you're over leveraged for the amount of money that you're supposed to be risking. And then this thing keep dropping and dropping and dropping. You like, I'm not selling, I'm not selling. You open up your account, all of your positions are wiped out. You like, what happened? I never sold. Your broker will sell you out of your positions when the liquidations or the risk just gets too crazy, right? It keeps hitting those stop losses. The stop losses for the broker, right? They'll have these certain levels in where, hey, if it gets down to this level, we got to get you out of this position because you're gonna blow the whole thing. You're gonna blow the whole thing. So a lot of day traders, a lot of forex traders, they go through that. When I was trading forex in the beginning, that used to happen to me sometimes, right? I'm like, yo, I'm gonna put my stop loss all the way down here, all the way down, just in case it come down and flip. I'll wake up the next day because I had a position I held overnight, swung it, and I'm looking at them like all my accounts. They liquidated me out of all of my accounts, right? Because there's a specific margin percentage that you can't go down. So that's another reason why crypto is selling off, bro. It's not just people are scared and it's a risk off environment. A lot of people are just over leveraged and they just getting liquidated out of all of their positions. Each level is another liquidation down. So if it goes from 80,000 to 75,000, there's a lot of money sitting at 75,000 where if it gets this, we got to get you out of your position. Then once that happens, it's like a snowball effect to the downside. I hope that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. So that's Bitcoin. I want to look at Nvidia. Where you at? Look at Nvidia. So when we look at Nvidia here, I want to see if y'all see exactly what I see on this joint. And I already had marked it off. Am I tripping or y'all see this head, shoulder, and then shoulder over here? Can move it up a little bit.
I see it.
See it?
Yep.
So with this head, shoulder, shoulder formation, bro, typically what happens, bro, is this thing likes to finish its pattern. And that's one thing I learned from Joseph last week. Don't fight the patterns. Don't fight them, bro. Like, let the patterns play out. And if we were to let this pattern play out, Nvidia look like it wants to go down to its 400-day EMA. All right. And if it don't go down to its 400 EMA, it looks like it at least want to go down to 158. Look like it wants to go down at least 158. If it gets down to 147, it's 400-day EMA, I'm loading the boat. That's a gift. Nvidia down to 147. When it touched 212, by the time it gets to back to all-time highs, you'll be up something silly, 30, 40, 50% on your investment. So Nvidia is what I'm looking at. I don't think the selling is over though. I don't think the selling is over. I think it's over soon, right? Because once you hear everybody saying, sell everything, be bearish. The fear and greed index is at around 30. It's in fear, getting close to extreme fear. That's usually when they come in. We've literally been through this before. So that's what I'm looking at on Nvidia. And then let me look at gold. Look at gold. Gold look like it's getting strong overnight. Y'all see this? Gold look like it's getting strong overnight. And like I said, it's just crazy because when gold runs, you expect stocks to be down. And then when stocks run, you expect gold to be down. But these have been moving in tandem with each other, bro. They've been moving in tandem with each other. So, it just makes you think like what's really going on? What's really going on? So, yeah, gold look like it's coming back up. I definitely want to get in the gold play. I want a gold play just in case. Just in case. And then I think it was one more hood. Yeah, let's look at hood. Look at hood. Hood is right next to that 400-day EMA. That's where I'm looking to buy more shares at. But also I'm looking at Bitcoin, right? If Bitcoin drops another 5, 10,000, hood can go down another $8 to $10. But if Bitcoin wants to hold here a little bit in this area, I'm looking to load up on hood around $69. I cannot believe hood went from 152, 153, and it's at around $70. They're about to touch 69. So those are the plays I'm looking at right now. Is there any other plays y'all looking at right now?
I like Hood, MU, of course. And yeah, NVIDIA. I like NVIDIA as well.
You said Nvidia as well.
Yes, I do. Down at that level, that 400 EMA, I think it can touch it.
Any other plays anybody else looking at?
Um, I believe definitely Netflix,
Yeah.
United Healthcare, and Hood for sure.
That's those ones you definitely looking at.
Yeah. For sure, opportunity.
Why you like United Healthcare so much?
I believe that it has a gap to fill at like the 500 range,
Okay.
right? It had
Oh, to the upside.
yeah, to the upside. And I know that their sell off, the last gap they had to fill that was on the upside was because of Warren Buffett buying shares.
Hmm.
You know, and I like United Healthcare because it gives dividends and it's like a defensive stock, and then also being in the healthcare industry too, it actually keeps my portfolio like well balanced.
I love that, bro. I love that, bro. Yo, we got a real estate question, man. Um, it says over 70% of licensed realtors didn't sell a single home last year. What is going on? Over 70% of licensed realtors didn't sell a single home last year. So, like, what does that say for the real estate industry? What does that say for people that are realtors? Like, what are they doing right now? Um, yeah, talk to me about that a little bit.
Uh, I think my opinion on that, as far as like realtors closing, is because the realtors audience is prone to first home buyers dealing with families, right? So now, especially where we're at, right, everything is about relationships, like establishing relationships. But more so when you look at the audience, as far as these so-called quote unquote motivated sellers, these people are in their 60s, 70s. They don't want to sell their home. They want to live in their home and, expire in their home, right? So where the buying opportunities for investors is going to come is by having that relationship where, hey, I got a couple properties that, I'm looking to get rid of. Do you want to buy them? Right? Having that relationship with a investor or a old landowner, right? Who has those ties and wants to, get rid of some properties, people are more likely going to find opportunity with those relationships instead of first time home buyers and so forth.
Hmm. So, is the industry dead?
It's not dead. It's just more so that people also understand too. People are getting smarter, right? So it's just like what's advertised with these turnkey properties, turnkey meaning these new renovated properties, right? It doesn't make sense. If I'm an investor, it doesn't make sense for me to purchase a property that's 600, 700,000, depending on the market, and it's a single family home where I'm looking to live in that home. I'm looking for an investment opportunity. I'm looking to get 20 to 30% return on my investment. Or I'm looking to see what the cap rate is, right? And I want to see as far as can this property make me cash flow, right? Can I rent it out to someone and can I start generating that cash flow, right? So it's all about it's it's all about buying into an asset, not into a liability. That's what it's about.
Got you. Got you.
When I hear those stats, I think about like the average single family home buyers, like outside of investors and stuff. I think there's a lot of waiting for both
Mm.
prices and rates. And, you know, some people just straight up don't have the money. And I think a lot of people that do they're just waiting for like these perfect numbers that might not come. And there's also, Trump keeps hinting at some real estate ideas. Maybe people waiting on that, but I think there's a lot of waiting around to kind of see what's going to happen. So I think that's a big part of it.
So, I got one more question about the real estate. Y'all think it's over for Gen Z on getting a career? And Gen Z is if you was born after, I think 96, 97. If he was born
Not at
after
all.
96, right?
Not at all.
You don't think it's over
Not,
for them to
not at all.
buy a home?
It not at all. Especially with understanding how to utilize other people's money. So a lot of times people are looking at as far as their finances and money wrong, right? When you look at borrowing and saving, borrowing is way faster as far as accumulating wealth, right? And what you want to do than saving your money. So it's just more so on Gen Z to understand as far as like, all right, how can I make this into an investment opportunity? Like Brother Jordan was saying, a lot of people are waiting for rates to drop. A lot of people are waiting for opportunity, but just how the stock market is, where there's an opportunity every week, right? Same thing with real estate, but maybe the opportunity is not in somebody's state, right? Maybe somebody has to look outside their state. Maybe somebody has to look at a state that is an hour away, 2 hours away for buying opportunity, right? So it's about, I need to, if I'm looking to buy real estate property, I need to be rich, right? I need to be financially well off in this area because annually I'm looking at, all right, the numbers I'm making is 100,000 a year.
Yeah.
I'm able to buy a property in Ohio for 50,000, which is a 3-bed, 2-bath. I could capitalize off that, right? So it's all about what you could capitalize off of.
So
So
with everybody losing a job, um, so you don't have the income. Majority with I'm saying majority of people don't have the income. You don't have the reserves. You don't have the capital. And if you don't have no money, you probably aren't able to pay all of your bills on time, which could potentially be hurting your credit, and your credit score can be dropping. You probably, if you're young, God willing, you was on your parents' credit, right? But if you weren't, you're just now building a credit history and you don't have no money. How are you getting a crib right now? How are you investing into these stocks at these great prices right now to kind of keep up? And that's kind of where I'm like, yo, it's the reality of this stuff, bro. Is this is a different era than our parents and our grandparents grew up, right? It's a different era. Like, they could get one job and take care of the family, take care of the house, take care of their bills with one with one job and have a retirement account, right? And they're gonna be all
Mhm.
right. Nowadays, you gotta kind of ain't no kind of your second side hustle, like it's mandatory now rather than being a luxury like before. Like you have to have multiple ways to make some money. You gotta have a job and you gotta be actively investing your money. Like, or
Mhm.
you gotta have a business, or you gotta be DoorDashing, Ubering, or trying to sell something. You gotta actively, like, this is mandatory now just for you to stay alive, bro. And that's where I'm like,
Yeah.
how is it possible for people to be able to get a crib or do these things that they've been trying to do that
so
America has basically sold you that you can do?
I think as far as
Apparently,
real estate, I said something similar last week. I think like I just think today, if you're gonna buy property, you need to be thinking like an investor. So the days of just like buying a house because that's what you do, I just don't see why that makes sense anymore. I just don't think it does. So if you're gonna buy a house, you have to make it make sense, right? So you need to look at multifamily. You need to look at maybe you don't even live in the property, right? But as far as everybody being able to buy a home, sometimes that can create a bigger problem. Like we also seen the Big Short, when they had the subprime lending, when everybody can just go in and buy it, that creates problems in the future. So
Mhm.
I'm not saying nobody should be able to afford it, but at the same time, if things are too accessible, that could also lead to further problems.
100%. No, 100%. I could definitely agree with that. Definitely. Uh, as far as like purchasing the commercial properties, because I'm in the private money field, and what I do is I'm an allocator, so I help borrowers get deployed funding from capital private money lenders, institutional investors. So what I see is that these investors are making sure that they're organized, right? So how does organization look with money, right? So it's making sure that you have collateral, which is real estate property or stocks, making sure that you have a good credit score, right? Also making sure that you have cash. But Nate said that how can somebody get situated when they may not have the resources or capital? I broke it down as far as having a money management system, right? So this money management system keeps you prepared and keeps you organized. Because at the end of the day, money is keeping you organized, keeping you prepared for any situation, right? So, real quick, a summary of how this money management system looks is that you have 6 to 7 accounts, right? So you have an account for uncertainty spending, which could be a car getting broken down or a family member being sick. You got a brokerage account where your compound interest, right? You're buying and holding. Then say if you have another account which is your fixed expenses, so that's bills, cars, right? Groceries, right? Fixed expenses, things that you're gonna spend your money on. Then on top of that, you may have a high yield savings account where you're taking 10% conservatively, that's a conservative number, 10%, and then investing into your high yield savings, where this is money that you're not going to touch. This is your personal net worth, right? So then, say if you have a business, this is where we get, a little extraordinary with it. So, say if you have a business, now you have a business high yield savings, and then you also have a business expenses. So, your business high yield savings is your business net worth, and then your business expenses is going to be anything that you need as far as software to keep your business up and running, right? That next account, say if you're a trader or you're looking to be an investor, the next account will be account for opportunities. It could be swing trading, it could be day trading, or it could be big purchasing as far as assets. So it's all about understanding and getting prepared as far as money management. But then excuse me, I don't mean to take up anybody's time, but also to add on to what Nate was saying as far as understanding the structure. So you need to have a cash flow engine, which could be work, business, cash flow engine. Then you want to have something that you can give a premium offer on, which is business, right? Commercial sales. And then you want to have your money compound interest, right? So that structure.
I ain't mean to cut you off, brother. So I
Yeah.
got uncertainty account, compound interest, fixed expenses, high yield saving, business account, and then you got a business expenses. So those are the six, right?
Yes, sir.
And then you said cash flow engine. Like all of this would be perfect in a perfect world, but six different accounts. That's where you ask yourself still, like the question I just asked, if no one has the salary or the job that they want to be able to fund all this. Like we just talked about the six accounts. Where are you getting the money from to fund the six accounts? You know what I mean? When
Yeah.
when when they're mass laying off people, they're not mass hiring niggas. They're
Yeah.
mass laying off people. Majority of people don't have a job compared to the people that do have a job. Right? So for the people that are like, I'm just trying to survive, like this example would be me personally, this would be perfect for somebody that got that cash flow coming in. You following me? But for the
Un-
people that don't got that cash flow coming in, that's why I'm asking the question like, what do they do? Y'all following me on that? KB, what you think?
Yeah, I feel you on this on that. Like it's not unfair, but it's just an unfortunate situation at the time we in. Like we're never gonna be able to get Microsoft at $100 or $1 or $50. Like it's hard. You just gotta invest or die, really, and hope for the long term. Get in at good levels and buy time on your option trades. But as far as six accounts, yeah, I think that's a little bit. That's a lot for somebody getting out of college or in
Mm,
college. You know, I would say like three, four. Your brokerage account, savings, checking account,
yeah,
and then a safety account.
right.
If
And
you
then
if you can, if you can.
And then, like, back to what Tevin said, and then we're gonna move on to our last topic, and then we're gonna be off of here. But back to what Tevin said and KB just said, like, the number one thing though is the cash flow engine. And that's what Tevin just talked about. Like, but that's the struggle now. Like, what's gonna be my cash flow engine? If I'm not working, I mean, I gotta do something. And I'm out here in Dallas a lot. There's an uptick in Uber drivers. There's an uptick in DoorDash drivers. It was like a report that came out. It was like a surge of like 30-40% of Uber drivers and DoorDash drivers. And then you gotta worry, okay, the people are like, yo, I'm gonna just do this. I'm gonna rock out and do this. I really don't want to do this. You gotta look around the corner. Yo, Elon and them, they working on cars that drive themselves, right? You looking at Jeff Bezos, you looking at they had an Amazon. I should have recorded it. I seen an Amazon drone today. Or they're picking your package up and dropping your package off. So if we got the Amazon drones and we got the Uberless drivers and the DoorDashless drivers, then it's like, okay, now what do we do? Like everybody out here in Dallas, they're looking freelance, they're doing freelance work and they're doing Ubers, Door Dashing, or they're trying to sell something. That's all they doing out here. Trying to make some money. They're literally trying to just keep their head above water by doing that. And now you got Elon, Jeff Bezos, these trillionaires, billionaires, trillionaire companies looking to replace that, looking to take that over. It just asks you again, like, what do you do? And I think J. Cole had hinted at this a while ago, and I said it too. Universal basic income. It looks like the only solution. And if you don't know what universal basic income is, it's basically universal basic income. Like I just said, it's an income that everyone gets, and it's the same amount every single month. It's like a stimulus check for each household, but every month. The good thing is you getting money coming in. The bad thing is it ain't no work out here. That's the only amount of money that y'all bringing in as a household. $4,000 a household. So we getting paid, we getting money, but the bad part is how do we make more of this on top of this, right? So that looks like the only solution, bro, that the government, they got to come up with a way where, yo, we gonna have to give every single citizen, a universal basic income. We're gonna have to give them something minimum to survive, because if we don't survive, then what's gonna happen to the American people? You're not gonna have a country. American people make up this country. It's not the government and the laws. The people make wherever you go. So, you know, to the basis of what everybody just said, bro, I think is number one, just finding a cash flow engine, right? Figuring out a way to make some money. If that's Uber and DoorDash, and take advantage of it. If that's doing temp services, right? Apply for those temp services jobs. Figuring out something to sell, right? You can go on the website, make something. You can drop ship, right? That's how they send an uptick in drop ships on Amazon. People are literally taking a product that's $4 and they putting it on their little server website for $7. And they just rinse and repeat. $3 profit in between. They rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. That's a little bit of profit. They selling something, right? Create something. You can write an ebook, right? You can have ChatGPT write an ebook for you. You can find ways to make just extra cash outside of the job that you have. And that's the number one thing, finding a way to make the money, right? And then number two, like Tev said, getting those accounts, managing your money, managing it, cutting out the expenses. Nah, I can't really go out right now. I can't really go to the club. I can't really go to that dinner. I can't really, be seen wearing the Louis Vuitton right now. I can't really do that right now. I can't really travel how I want. I can't really take that shorty out that I really want to take out. Right? I can't really do all that stuff. I gotta cut my expenses. I gotta cut my Hulu account. I gotta cut my Disney Plus account. These are all the things that I was doing when I first started medical courier. Oh yeah, hey Charles, I'm gonna definitely need you to lock in with a couple people on here, because that'll be dope. Like that'll be dope. Medical courier, that's dope. Um, but yeah, like these are some of the things that I was doing in the beginning, cutting out all expenses, bro. Trying to have a low overhead while you build. When you have a low overhead while you build what you're doing, you're gonna end up in a better situation than when you started. If you got a business, if you promoting something, if you're doing something, if you collabing with people, try to look for the cheapest route possible. I don't want to say be cheap, but be cost efficient. Don't be overspending right now. right? Try to cut out all your expenses, meal prep. That's something that I did too in the beginning. I'm doing that right now. Every Sunday, just go to the store, get a big batch of, if you eat chicken, get a whole bunch of like, get a rotisserie chicken, $10, $12, get some carrots, some vegetables, or you cut that rotisserie chicken up on Sunday, put it in the meal prep boxes, bro, for the whole week. You done spent 30, $40 on meals this week. 30, $40, right? And these are just examples, right? Food, like I said, cutting the Hulu, cutting the Disney Plus, not going outside. Ian had this thing that he said, don't go outside for a year. Watch how much money you save. Don't go outside for a year. And it feel like every time we step outside, we spending a bag. Every time we step outside, we spending some money, bro. Every time we step outside. So, and then, they don't talk about it, but I feel like one of the best strategies as well is dual income. Dual income. What does that mean? Partnering with somebody to bring income in to lower the expenses for both of y'all. So if that's getting a roommate and an apartment, do that. If that's, you know, I'm not saying go get a girlfriend or go, if you're a lady on her, go get a boyfriend, and specifically look to lower your expenses. Nah, but be strategic about how you move. If this is some person that you appreciate and you on the same page with, think about doing that. Hey, we gonna eat this week. How about you get the food on Monday and Tuesday, and I get the food on Wednesday and Thursday? Right? Figuring out ways to lower your expenses as much as possible right now. You're gonna need every single dollar for what's to come. Right? And if you got kids, definitely get them what they need. My mom and my pops told me, they said that they could do it all over again. They said we wouldn't do anything for you up to the age of 4 or 5. Now I said, why? She said, what did you do on your second birthday? I said, I don't know. She said, we threw you one of the biggest parties ever, spent so much money you don't even remember. Christmas gifts, right? All these gifts, New Year's gifts, everything, bro. Up to a certain age, if you got kids, like, are we putting her in designer for her, or are we putting her in designer for Facebook to see? She don't even know what designer is at 1 years old, 2 years old. He don't even know what designer is. He don't even know why he should be eating all this food, right? Doing all this at this young age, right? So, just be smart about it. Everybody got their own blueprint, but my mom, my pops, they told me that they said, if we could do it all over again, that would be 4 to 5 years of expenses that we could have cut back on, and you would have still ended up all right. So figuring out ways to cut those expenses, bringing that money in, and then investing it, bro. The 3 M's: make, manage, and multiply. And that's what we talking about tonight. Putting them into equity, putting them into stocks. If you're in a real estate sector, looking for those opportunities, right? Looking for those deals, looking for those opportunities, looking for those deals, starting a business, selling something, right? Solving a problem, right? If you want to become a person of value, you got to solve a problem out here, bro. Right? If you want to become a person of value, you have to solve a problem, right? You have to. So, um, last thing we'll talk about before we get off of here. I seen Wall Street Trapper, he's doing something in Atlanta. In March, middle of March in Atlanta. I'm gonna update that in the event section. If you ain't looked at the event section, definitely go look at that. These are all the events that we looking to go to throughout the year. All right, we're not gonna make it to all of them. I think Dubai is next week. I don't know if anybody gonna make it to that, but Dubai is next week. And these are all business events, tech events. Um, Entrepreneur events. These are all networking events throughout the entire year that you can go to yourself, shake hands, meet people, right? I told Alante this earlier. Your next opportunity might be in the next relationship that you make, right? Your next opportunity might be in the next relationship that you make. So network, man. Keep putting yourself out there. Keep shaking hands. We in the ecosystem. We got a lot of great people in here. Say what's up to people. Chop it up. Be in the chat. Be active in the chat. Ask questions like we usually do. So that's mid-March. Barcelona is March 2nd through the 5th. I think I might be trying to go to that March 2nd through the 5th Barcelona tech event out there in Barcelona. So that's another great event that I'm looking to go to. So these are upcoming events for the next month or two. Um, Last kind of housekeeping things, do whatever you can, right? If it's in your budget to get out of the country this year. Do whatever you can if it's in your budget to get out of the country this year, right? You have to. I've had a lot of people down here in Dallas tell me, yo, gotta go, you gotta go here, you gotta go here. I'm like, wow, they like, yo, it's a part of the world that you missing. It's opportunity that you missing. It's relationships that you missing. You need to get out of here. Go over there, shake hands, do this, do that. Go open your eyes up. America is not just the only thing out here. Even though they make it seem like it's this and that, it's not the only thing out here. So if you can in your budget before the year is over, try to travel. Even if you don't get out the country, try to travel to some US places, Try to check out Houston, Dallas, right? Miami, LA, New York, Manhattan specifically, right? New Jersey, right? I was just in DC last week, right? Try to travel, try to do that. So um yeah, man, that's everything. Anybody got any last comments or last topics before we get off here?
Hold through the storm, yo. Get off
Hold
the
through the
charts.
storm, man. Hold
Yeah,
through.
hold through the storm,
Keep
fellas.
investing. Keep loading money in the chart in the account.
Hold through the storm. Anybody else before we get off here?
Finish the week strong, fellas. We got one more day.
One more day
Tomorrow,
of one more
we're gonna
day of
see.
bleeding, man.
Yeah, we're gonna see how tomorrow look.
One more day of bleeding. Remember those strategies we talked about when the market is red. You should be excited. That's an opportunity to invest, put our money in. But if you already been invested in your portfolio red, just get off of your phone, get off of your computer, stop looking at the screen, stop looking at the news, stop all of that. It's gonna make it worse. Make sure your mental health is good, and just keep taking care of yourself, bro. We only what we 35 days into the year. Yeah, 35 days into the year, 365 days, 35 days in. Don't give up yet, bro. Don't give up yet. This is gonna be one of the best years of our life. But we gotta double down right now. All right. All right, y'all, man. Love. Y'all be safe. All right.
Love, family.
Yes, sir.
All right, family. Y'all have a good one.
Appreciate it. Take care, man.
Appreciate y'all.
Oh, damn.